All right, thank you, Jim. And some good points brought up. This is an erosion of due process. It's the erosion of the rights we're supposed to have by the courts, and the courts don't respect our rights. I mean, the justice system is so bad. Where do you start with the justice system? You know, I mean, there's so many different levels where every time they see this crime, I'm going to bring up my case. I got 25 years for 1 gram of marijuana, convicted, here in the state of Iowa. It was a 5-year mandatory. I only did a year. Luckily, I got a reconsideration. But I mean, when I was going through that, there was somebody else going through the same thing too. I think he was 19 years old, gave his sister a half a joint. Sister was 17, 25 years for that joint he gave his sister. Pretty common to happen. It's just, we have some insane laws. I mean, everybody knows about the laws, you can go to jail for marijuana. Some of these laws are really insane, where something has to be done about it. And these people behind this, let me get back to the medical marijuana issue, because that's where it all starts. We got to make medical marijuana first. It's obvious. How can you tell patients they can't have medicine that a doctor says they should have? These people at the Capitol, they're not doctors, and they're telling doctors, they're stepping between a doctor and their patient saying, no, we don't think you should have the right to tell your patient what they should take. And we don't think you as a patient should have the right to take the medicine you need. And that's not what they're for. They're not doctors. That's not what they're up there for. We got to let them know that that's not what they're up there for. When you talk about medical marijuana, I mean, to break it down as simple as you can, everybody opposing it, everybody keeping it illegal, making it illegal, has blood on their hands. There's patients out there that have a safer alternative than the drug they're taking, which sometimes the drug they're taking, the side effect could be death, or the condition they have, which they're not getting the right treatment because medical marijuana is not available. They could die for that result. I mean, there's blood on the hands of these people that's keeping marijuana illegal when it comes to medical marijuana. And it's not a small issue. A lot of times when you go and talk to people that don't really know the issue, oh, you know, you're a marijuana activist, that's funny, you want to get stoned. Well, yeah, I do want to get stoned, but it's a little bit bigger than that, though. It's huge. It's people's lives are on the line when you talk about medical marijuana. And there's so much research in. Where do you even start with the research? Some research is so technical, it's on the medical front, showing exactly marijuana has a good positive effect on this specific type of cancer. So much research in. Then there's other, I mean, the broad range of research. Let me talk about a study they did in England a few years ago. It was a 5-year study. They want to see they contribute deaths to marijuana. And I'm not joking. All they could come up with after 5 years was people being stoned, eating sandwiches, and getting in wrecks with their cars. So obviously we need to outlaw sandwiches, right? I mean, there's no toxic side effect to marijuana. We all know that. There's no death. Peanuts kill more people than marijuana. I don't think nobody should get their door kicked in and go to prison because they have peanuts in their house, though. Even the deadliest drug on earth, cigarettes, kills more people than every other drug combined. I still think individuals should have the right to smoke cigarettes. I don't think they should go to prison because they have a carton of cigarettes in their house. Nobody does. But for some reason, marijuana has this evil mentality. I mean, it started, you know, in 37. It's, you know, all these people bring up this mentality that marijuana is the devil. If you legalize it, it will be the fall of Western society as we know it. It's not true. And there's obviously a lot of big interests that make money off marijuana being illegal. You know, you talk about the whole pharmacy industry. They don't want people to grow their own drugs. Corporations can't make money that way. We certainly can't have that. So some people go to prison, some lives are ruined. The important thing, these big corporations are making more money. Well, no, that's not what's important. What's important is the people. You know, that's a perfect example of capitalism coming before democracy. Democracy is always before capitalism, period. The people always come first. People before profits. No more blood on hands. No more destroyed lives on people's hands. And you know, the movement nationally, I think it's moving. Here in the state of Iowa, what can we expect in the next few years? I think we can expect some change up at the Capitol, maybe this election. Put more pressure on the governor. Is the governor going to sign anything? No, he's not. But we can put pressure on him, and we can make a message for the person. The next person is going to be governor. This is a big issue. If you want to be elected, well, this is a big issue. It'll bring in votes, and slowly but surely, we're eroding away this mentality that a lot of people that are ill-informed have, that marijuana is this great Satan of the world.
They're brainwashed.
And but we're slowly but surely eating away. Some people are brainwashed. Yeah, you can't reach them. But some people are on the cuff. They don't know which way they're going to go. They're on the fence, you know. So the more we talk about it, the more we can tell them, hey, you know, this is the real issue. Look at the facts for yourself. Don't listen to me. Go look. There's so much facts in. The Board of Pharmacy is the perfect example. When Carl brought his petition to him, when they first tried to just blow it under the rug, it was like, well, all right, let's have a vote on it, and they all voted against medical marijuana without hearing anything. And then it was sent right back to him by the judge, and he said, no, you actually have to do your job. If there's research in, you have to look at the research. The Iowa Code says you do. Do your job. Well, they actually did. They had open forums all over the state right here at the historical building, and they actually seen the research. It was one-sided. They ended up having to vote unanimously, saying, we looked at the research, there's no other way to rule. Even people against marijuana were saying, marijuana is medicine. It is medicine. You can't argue that. And they even sponsored a bill up at the Capitol saying, look, we are your board of advisors. You have us here because you're not doctors. That's why we exist. We're here to tell you this is or isn't a medicine. We're saying it's a medicine, but it's just amazing how people like Baldler, and he's not the only one, but he's the pot Nazi, but you know, they step in and he tries to introduce a bill pretty much, if that one gets passed, his bill will totally get rid of that one. I mean, it's preemptive charge. And these are not doctors. It's not their job to step between a patient and their doctor. Take away rights and liberties. That's not what they're there for. They're certainly not there, like in Baldler's case, to go to California and lie to get drugs. And look like a fool, I know. He should have got impeached, but at least it brought up the issue. And that's important, though. We need to bring up the issue. The more the issue is brought up, the more it's talked about, the more people maybe that are on the fence hear about it and actually think, wow, you know, I looked at the issue for the first time in my life, and boy, there's only one way to look at it. Marijuana needs to be legal. It needs to be legal medically. It needs to be legal for recreational. Yeah. I mean, there's no regulations on the sale of marijuana right now, but put some regulations on the sale of marijuana. Fine. Just take that first step, one way or the other. You know, make it a ticket then. Do like what other states do, and if you have under an ounce, you get a ticket. It's a civil penalty. That's a good first step. Yeah. Obviously, it should be legal across the board with no penalties at all, but you know, let's take some steps towards that. Right. So, anybody else want to talk though? I know a gentleman here was talking about speaking. Maybe we have somebody who wants to say some words. Everybody that wants to talk has the right to talk up here. So go ahead and please feel free.
Ahem. Hi, my name's Deanna. I don't smoke weed, but I have in the past, of course, but I have friends that have cancer. They're paying $30,000 for drugs that is killing them. They don't even know if the medicine in that chemotherapy is even going to help them. It is a test. We're going to try this. Meanwhile, cannabis oil has been proven to hit the cannabinoid receptors in the human body, put there by God, to cure this. And the governments and the pharmaceutical companies are making too much money to even look twice at it. It's been thrown out of court in Canada. There's so much information out there. You just got to find it. It's there. Tell everybody about it. Oh my God, my grandfather-in-law, whatever, something, I don't know. He was on his deathbed. And I told my nephew about this cannabis oil, not smoking it, but the cannabis oil, concentrated. Brought this man back from his deathbed. I know it did. I mean, it's there, and people are too scared or too greedy to get the real answers. And these guys up here are just twisting our words, making it, oh, it's illegal, let's not even think about it. But if they would just take the time and be a human being to human being and not look at the greed aspect or, oh my gosh, this will make us look bad, you know, it's just craziness. Anyway, John has something to say. This is my husband. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I'm a little bit taller here. So, my name is John. Been through a lot of weird things in my life.
I'll take a test for you. If you need me to, I'll take a test.
Oh, yeah.
Get a job.
Anyway, it's been one of those situations where you know, I've never really looked at this issue very hard ever until just recently. And whenever all of a sudden some of my family members and people that I know that I care about start getting cancer, right? You know? And I just wonder how many people up there have friends and family members and people that they love who are getting cancer. And then I wonder if they are going to go ahead and, you know, avert the law and go get it for themselves.
If it was their eyes on the line.
You know, it's like there's this double standard, you know. The rich just do what they want and the poor just got to suffer. Well, it's just not right, okay? We're people too, okay? We're people too. We're human beings, and, you know, if we're suffering and we're hurting, you know, And there's a cure and there's an answer that's been given by the Creator to heal a certain situation in your body that nothing else is going to cure. And then I started doing like a study on this, and I was like, well, what are these cannabinoid receptors? And you know, what is this? You know, they were in the 80s, I think it was, they were basically trying to figure out what made marijuana tick. You know, and they started finding all the different types of chemicals that are in this incredible drug, right?
Plant.
And the main, well, plant, whatever you want to call it.
Not a drug dealer.
Okay? It's a natural cure, okay? And they don't like natural cures because you can't patent a natural cure. And you can't make money off of a natural cure. So they're going to lock people away and throw away the key? And let people suffer and die? For what? So they can make a bunch of money. That's it. That's the main key. That's it. That's all they care about, is making money, until their family members and their friends and people they care about start getting sick. The world we live in is super toxic, okay? We live in a world that is so toxic that the body can't keep up with the toxins. All right? So, therefore, the cannabinoids that are already in your body that were created by God to protect you against tumors can't keep up. Okay? So therefore, you have to have a more potent remedy. And that's what this cannabis oil has done. People, you know, there's a video called Run From the Cure. I don't know if any of you have ever seen it. Have anybody ever seen that video? Run From the Cure? If you haven't seen it, go YouTube it. It's on YouTube. A gentleman in Canada who belonged to the Royal Canadian Legion, okay, suddenly found the cure for cancer. He was diagnosed to basically smoke marijuana, okay, and he told his doctor, he said, well, you know, what if I emulsify, what if I break it down to its finest oils? Because he knew how to distill. So he basically began to distill this stuff, and one day he put it on one of his friends who had melanoma, skin cancer, a terrible lesion on his arms and all over his body. And the man put this stuff on his lesion, and put a Band-Aid over it, and a week later, the melanoma was gone. Yeah! Gone. So he had another friend of his that was dying. He only had a month to live, cancer. So he went, well, what if I start ingesting this stuff? So he started giving people the remedy, the healing power of the cannabis oil went into this guy's body. He went into the doctor a month later, and the nurses were just flabbergasted. They couldn't figure it out. Where did the cancer go? It was gone. Okay? Gone. So what did the doctors do? Well, he had all of these people that he had cured from, like 12, 15 people cured from cancer. Okay? He had all of these, you know, doctors that were going to testify. They went in, they shut down the Royal Legion. They went in, they fired all the people who were executives of the Royal Legion. They confiscated everything. And basically, you know, through this guy, they were going to throw him in jail. Okay? It went all the way to the Supreme Court. He had all of this evidence, and they threw it all out. That's justice? In Canada? Well, is Canada any different than here? Are we losing our freedoms? Are we losing our justice? The Justice Department that's supposed to protect us? No, it seems to me that it's the reverse. It's protecting special interests who all they care about is their goddamn pocketbook. Yeah. So it's time for the people who have enough sense in their soul and enough grace in their minds to begin to stand up, tell everybody, you know, go look at that video, watch it, you'll be amazed. Okay? This is just one little aspect of freedom that we're losing, okay? And it's all due to special interests. So we all got to stand up. Thank God y'all came out today. This is the first rally I've ever been to in my life. Okay? I don't even smoke this stuff. Okay? But when I see the evidence and I go, wow, well, there's evidence that proves that this stuff is real. Well, why the hell are we sitting back and not offering it to people who are dying? You know? It's just evil. And, you know, I'm not going to call good evil and evil good. If something's good, it's good. If something's evil, it's evil. Period. And it's very simple. You can't draw a line on this one, okay? You just can't, it's not like in the shadows anymore, okay? This is out in the open. It's proven. So that's all I have to say.
Hey, the bud has arrived. Yeah. Just some cannabis hemp history. Do you everybody know that the Declaration of Independence was drafted on hemp? Yeah. The first American flag was made out of hemp. It was Thomas Jefferson. He went to Paris and they smuggled hemp seeds in to fight the Revolutionary War because hemp was so important for cordage, clothing, and sales. So hemp has been in the American history. So even though in 1937 they tried to suppress it, it has been very important. All the books and paper was made out of hemp until the late 1880s when they replaced it with paper that has acid in it. So you'll notice the books in the library that are older than the 1880s, they're still there, but the ones made around 1900 are all rotten away. So let's hear it for hemp. I thought I saw a giant rolling paper around here someplace, and I heard some guy here called the incinerator, so I gotta go.
All right, does anybody else want to talk?
Right here.
All right, here we go.
Normal.
Thank you. I want to thank everybody for showing up for Worldwide Marijuana March Day. We may be standing here, we may not be as many as we would like to be, but all around the world, our brothers and sisters are standing with us. We are not alone.
Thank God.
Yeah.
When we look at the problems that we have, education is top. Education, we need to educate our friends, our families, and our coworkers. But the people that need the learning are right back here. The people that are making the laws, listen to them talk on the radio, listen to them talk in the media. They don't know what they're talking about. Back in high school, back in college, we didn't go out and take the ASB president and the captain of the football team and all the cheerleaders and take them off and get them high. Now they turn around and they're up here making the laws. You have to go out, you have to educate. Send an issue of High Times to Governor Bradstad. Send cannabis culture to your congressman, okay? Our government needs to know these are good things. You see something good on the internet and you share it with all your friends on Facebook, make sure that your congressman is on Facebook. Make sure that they're getting this information also. They don't understand. My wife was a medical marijuana patient out in California, and I was privileged enough to be able to grow this wonderful plant. I've seen how it has helped people with cancer, AIDS, people have gone through chemotherapy. I've watched this healing plant save these people's lives. I've also seen my friends go to jail for simple possession. Iowa has some of the worst marijuana laws in the entire nation. We need to change this. Vote, register to vote. Keep in contact with your congresspeople, with your House representatives. You may not think that they don't want to talk to you, but they don't understand us if you don't talk to them. And if I talk to mine, you can talk to yours. Talk to your congressman. Talk to the governor. Make an appointment with the governor. Show up in a suit and tie and tell him you're serious, you want this changed. Bradstad knows nothing about marijuana. He knows nothing about medical marijuana. He thinks most officials in government don't think that marijuana is a medicinal cure. They just think it's a bunch of people sitting around wanting to get high. It's partially that, but it's not all of it. People can go, my father died from alcoholism. My mother died from lung cancer. Amazingly enough, I could have dropped acid with my father and got him to stop drinking alcohol, and it might have saved his life. They're finding that out in studies now. I could have gotten my mother high with marijuana, and she may have been still alive today. More needs to be done. We can't expect others to do everything for us. When the civil rights movement first started, it wasn't a huge amount of people. It was small groups of people. It was small groups marching and raising their voices and bringing awareness to other people. Thank you very much. See y'all at the party later.
All right, one thing I want to say is people talk about legalizing marijuana, but the correct way to say it is re-legalize marijuana. Let's make it legal again, because it was legal. It should have never been made illegal in the first place. It was all live. Anslinger went around the world telling everybody, you know, using the might of the United States and our foreign policy, said, listen, if you guys want any kind of donations to your country, we're gonna have you make marijuana legal. And I mean, Anslinger, where do you start with this guy? You know, he's the reason, the biggest reason of any one individual maybe that marijuana is illegal around the world. But that ideology is fading away slowly but surely. We're eating away at it. And about the Capitol here, it's so easy to go up there and register as a lobbyist. All you do, you go in there, you go on the second floor, and beside each chamber, you got the Senate and the House, there's a little room for lobbyists. You go in there, you fill out a paper, they give you your own little page on their site, and you're a lobbyist. And you can talk to anybody you want, and I'm a personal interest lobbyist, which means I'm not paid by any company or anybody. I'm on there on my own. There's no money behind me, and unfortunately you'll hear from people, well, you know, you got to kind of get a fundraiser going. You hear from both sides, and it shouldn't be about that, but, you know, the more they hear from people, the more different people go up and talk to them, the bigger issue they'll realize it really is. So everybody can go up there and lobby anytime. I mean, just a couple hours here and there. Now, maybe not everybody here is here in Des Moines, but like I said, even then you can bring it to a local level. Talk to your county government, city government. A city council meeting, for example. If 5 people show up at the right city council meeting, they could dictate that meeting. They really can put a lot of pressure on the direction that meeting is going. So there's a lot we can do on local and state levels right here in Iowa. So we're going to see change here in Iowa. It might take a little while, though. Ray's getting ready to come back up here, though. One more thing. I invite everybody to go to Mullets. As soon as we're leaving here, everybody go to Mullets. And that's right, you know where Steck Taylor Stadium is? What's Principal Park now? Right across the river from Principal Park is Mullets. You can't miss it. And that's where everybody's going to be at. Yeah, it's follow the caravan, so.
All right, thanks Hank Michael for keeping the mic hot. I had to take a little emergency trip over to QT. You know, that's one thing maybe next year or something like that we could do is have no smoke out. You know, I see that or I should say that my senses are working, and the smell of freedom is alive and well at the Iowa State Capitol today, Iowa Hemp Freedom Rally 2012. Thank you for keeping it real and bringing it. Come on up, Bob. Bob Mankey, bringing it. All right, let's hear Bob. Bob's very enthusiastic, and he's got a lot to say. So, I really wish... All right, here you go, Bob. Bob Mankey, bringing it.
Thanks, Ray.
You're welcome.
Give it to my buddy. God bless you. I have something I want to say to the legislature of the state of Iowa. I want you to respond to the Iowa Board of Pharmacy when they recommended you take marijuana out of Schedule 1. Stop sitting on your hands. I want some action. Okay, marijuana is medicine. Okay? Action. I can tell you this for a personal fact. Several years ago when I went out to Oregon and I got my OMA card, Oregon Medical Marijuana Act card, I was addicted to medical morphine. My wife is a federale nurse, a registered nurse at the VA at that time. Basically, she's pretty serious police. She watched with her own eyes as I kicked morphine in 2 weeks because I had access. I don't have that here. I haven't been on morphine since then. I'm on other powerful pain meds because I came back here. This is my home state. And I don't have access back here. And that stuff's poisoning me. About a little over a month ago, I'm over at Mercy here in Des Moines. And I'm at nuclear imaging because I'm getting scheduled up for another major surgery. And this particular technician has kind of chained me for about 2 hours for this nuclear imaging scan when they give me radioactive materials and watch them move through my body. And I asked this technician, who I'd never met before in my life, I said, how many years have you worked here at Mercy? And he said, I've worked here 16 years. And I said, would you hear if somebody came into your emergency room, not very far from your office, and died of marijuana overdose? Where? Never. I said, when was the last time you heard of somebody coming into your emergency room and dying of marijuana overdose? And he got a funny look on his face, folks, because he'd never thought like this in his life. And he said, never. That's right. He's never heard of anybody dying from a marijuana overdose. It's impossible, that's right. And I asked him, when was the last time you heard of somebody coming into your emergency room because they've got a kick marijuana addiction? And he got a funny look on his face again. And he said, never. And I said, that's right. And then I told him that little story about my trip to Oregon when I kicked the morphine. And folks, I want to tell you how important you are because it relates to this. I changed that woman, my life partner's heart. You can't be more of a federale than she is. I promise you can't. And I watched her witness to a serious licensed MD stomach surgeon, shockingly to me, on her own, that marijuana is medicine. She did this. And if I can influence this powerful personality to change her heart, who can you reach? Who can you touch? So there's 50 of us here. Who can you reach out and touch with your witness? Because I promise that power's inside of you. You can do this. I really did kick morphine. Yeah. Marijuana is medicine. This isn't something we're making up. I want to mention something else. There are 3 million Iowans. 1 million Iowans have in the past or currently do smoke marijuana. We're not a minority. We are a grossly underrepresented, serious political power. We are not ephemeral. We are not ghosts. 1 in 3 is us. That's a pretty serious, powerful thing. That's the kind of thing you tell the politicians. I am thrilled and honored to be a part of Carl Olson's powerful lawsuit that's currently in the Iowa State Supreme Court to force marijuana out of Schedule 1. Folks, if we succeed, there's going to be a riot in the State House because these people are going to crap their pants trying to shove it in Schedule 2. And guess what's going to happen when they do that? We're going to sue them again. We're not going to stop. We are not going to stop. We're not going to go away for these people. I want to say something else. About 2 years ago, I had the opportunity to meet our beloved governor for life, Terry Branstad. And I met him at the Republican Town Hall meeting in Ames, Iowa. And at that meeting, there was also Iowa Agriculture Secretary Bill Sack. Well, I gave him, what, 4 for all of us, folks. It may be legal to put corn in our gas tank, to put food in our gas tank, but it certainly is immoral. Did you know that Henry Ford powered the first factory production prototype, the Model T, from marijuana fuel? Gasoline hadn't been invented yet by that rat Rockefeller. Marijuana is very adaptable to capitalism. Marijuana is not something from hell. Marijuana is a gift from Creator God. It is thoroughly capable of giving us jobs. It is thoroughly capable of giving us medicine. I asked Governor Branstad and I asked Bill Sack, How come we're importing our toilet paper? How come we're not growing our own toilet paper here and making it out of pot?
Making money.
It isn't even money, sugar. It's straight up ignorance. It isn't even money. They're ignorant. And it's up to us to do like I did with the nurse. Have the guts to start talking about this issue to people. Have the guts to go find out not just vaguely what's going on and quote some kind of vague constitutional rights. Have some facts with you. Okay? Have some facts. They're out there on the net, but I'm telling you they're also right here. Learn each other and talk to us. For gosh sake, get on Carl Olson's medical marijuana thread and start learning. That guy will give you so much information. And you need this. You need this to help transform society because we are a very effective power. We are not just real, we are effective. And that's what's necessary. Carl's an amazing leader. Ray's done a lot of work. There are a whole bunch of us that has. It dismays me when my friends move to Colorado, quite honestly. It does. Because I like to slug it out with them right here. God bless you. Thank you for your time.
All right, there you have it. The always passionate Bob Mankey bringing it. OP Cannabis. Yeah, OP 420. OP Global Marijuana March. All right, here he is, Alan. Well, the mic's hot. Here you go, Alan.
Thank you, Ray. Step back here a second. I did not prepare anything today. I'm currently in the process of writing a paper for Senator Harkin that shows both the pros and the cons of marijuana legalization. Right now it's 212 pro, 13 con. So I'm being serious about this. I'm looking at all sides of it. So I'm not going to get into that. What I'm going to get into right now is my personal story of being involved in a serious accident November 17th of 2010. I have not been back to work since. When I ask my doctor, they kind of snicker and say, we'll see. But my entire back is gone. I've also been diagnosed with PTSD because I was involved in a very serious hit and run accident. He crushed my car. I had to be cut out of the car. After this was all done and I'm at the hospital and everything gets said and done, I'm looking at 17 prescriptions. Wow, man. You gotta be fixed with one.
I
have dropped 6 of them since. Yeah. All right. Because of medical marijuana. Some of them I do have to take. But the ones that I don't, and I've discussed this with my doctor and said, now listen, I'm not going to be doing the hydrocodone, aka value. I'm not going to do the Oxycontin because I'm afraid of the addiction rate. Where I have smoked marijuana off and on for the 40 plus years of my life, and if I'm out, it sucks. But I'm not going out robbing people to get more.
Exactly.
When I got more money, I'll get more. It's as far as I'm concerned, it's not an addictive drug. But when it can take away 6 prescriptions, 6 pills that I had to take every day, I think the pros outweigh the cons 1,000 to 1. You know, I'm standing up here. This is a requirement for me. I can't go any place without this. And if I don't have something to ingest, I don't leave the house. You know, I just can't leave because of the anxiety. Because, to be honest with you, after the accident, I'm afraid to be in vehicles now. And I have found out that if I smoked a blunt before I went for a ride, it's usually okay. And I didn't have to take those anxiety pills.
Relaxation.
So I believe that the medical marijuana is not only due, but it's necessary.
It's not a need, it's a must.
Correct. But what we need to do is stand up and do one thing. Vote. If you want to change anything, your vote does count, because your vote is combined with everybody else's vote, and that number grows. Yes, I do understand your argument about the electronic voting machines, on how they can be fixed to where
They are fixed.
the results aren't what you put in. And I do understand that. That's why I have been an advocate for paper ballots. You know, a paper ballot. And it's just pretty simple. Number 2 pencil on a paper ballot. Check the box that you want to check and turn it in. There's no hacking. There's no, you know, there's no way you can fraudulently make a extra count. You can't drop some and say, oh, well, they spelt the name wrong, which is the reason that they threw out 100,000 votes in Florida for a primary, because they spelt the candidate's name wrong. They threw it out. So we need to not only look at the medical marijuana, we need to join the 24 states that have the petitions for a continental Congress. We need 26 to make a majority. Once 26 are had, a constitutional Congress can be held. Well, guess what? Term limits can be put on these positions where Republicans and Democrats can't spend 40 years in office. I've always wondered why a candidate will spend $3.5 million for a $755,000 a year job. He's got to be getting something more out of it. Something that we don't know. But it's time to put term limits on the legislation so we can get the people out, we can get new blood that's in there, that realize that they don't have a political party or a special interest group behind them saying, well, we really want you to vote this way because, well, hey, how much did we vote? How much money did we give you for your campaign? So tit for tat, he votes the way they ask. Not what's good for his constituents, but what was good for his pocketbook so he could get reelected and serve another 2 years. So the medical marijuana, yes, is very important, but I think if we are going to do this, we need to change the government. We need to change and put term limits on these legislators so we don't have a Kennedy in the Capitol building for what, 42 years before he died? I mean, that's ridiculous. The man never owned a business. The man never had a 9-to-5 job. He never had to work for a paycheck. All he had to do was walk around and talk, and they paid him. It's a good gig if you can get it, but how can you run a country if you've never done a business? If you've never lived on a 9-to-5 salary?
Our country is a business.
So that's the thing I want to promote, is to get this constitutional Congress to happen.
The government is a corporation.
And if it does happen, I think a lot of things will change in this country for the good. I'm going to quote Abraham Lincoln right now. This country is too strong to be destroyed by a foreign power, but it's not strong enough to be destroyed from within. And that is what we're doing right now.
is our country is slowly being destroyed. And in 20 years, I'm afraid to look across the country and find out what condition we're in. Because my daughter will be in her 20s, and she's the one that's going to have to pay for all of our mistakes. So, being an activist, you know, just don't be an activist for medical marijuana. Be one, but also be one for other causes too. If you're going to be there, make your time count. That's all I've got to say. Just make your time count. And like I said, if you want to start the revolution, all you got to do is use the vote that's in your hand. And if we have enough soldiers that vote, then no one can beat us. Thank you.
All right, there you have it. That was awesome, Al. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Oh, come on up, Bobby. Bobby's coming back. You guys don't want to hear Bobby. Bring it, Bobby.
All right. I'm sitting here listening to the last three people talking, and the main thing is getting more people involved. Since this year, I live in Scranton, Iowa, which is on the other side of Perry. It's an hour and 15 minutes here. This is the 7th time I've hitchhiked here this year for my medical appointments and for this. I walk 20 miles every time I get here. And I know all these guys here, they put their whole life into it every day, every day, every day. And it's a lot more people is needed. Just your voice, just talk to people, you know, because that's what's going to make the difference. And I was sitting here thinking, I'm getting ready to go back on chemo here in 2 weeks. Now they told me that they will put me on pain pills, and they will also put me on pot pills.
Yeah.
But medical marijuana is not legal, but yet they're going to give me pot pills, which is the derivative of boiled down pot.
Marinot? Marinot.
Yeah, Marinot. How can they legally give me pot pills when it's not legal? I can't figure it out. But it takes all of our voices to keep pounding at them to get anywhere. And the sooner we get medical legalized, a lot of people will be helped. Thanks, people.
I'm going to say something real quick. All right. I forgot I wanted to bring this up. Little did you know fact. The Iowa Constitution says if anybody is on their way to or from a polling place, if you're going to vote, in the process of going to vote and get back to wherever your original destination was, that you cannot be arrested for any misdemeanor, because your right to vote supersedes any misdemeanor. It would be wrong for you to go to jail for a misdemeanor and lose your right to vote for that day. You might not be able to get to vote. So, hypothetically, let's say somebody wanted to walk down the street and smoke a joint while they were on their way to vote. You shouldn't be arrested for that. Now, if somebody did want to do that, I'm not advising anybody to do that. If somebody did want to do that, make sure you have that page of the Constitution with you. This fall, we'll try to do it nationwide, okay?
All right. I really appreciate everybody coming back up to the mic, contributing things again. I just want to say my mission in life is to make marijuana legal for the whole world. I was put here for that reason. If you don't believe it or not, I'm here, and I believe it.
You're still here.
Yep. I've been involved with it since I was 14, since I was in high school, you know, and then I came down with MS in 2004 and started discovering a whole new family worldwide of people with MS that are using marijuana as an alternative to FDA dope. And of course I wasn't scared to use that as my full-time medicine, because I was involved in it for a long time. And people look at me and be like, well, you've only been involved since 2005 or whatever. You know what? I've only been smoking marijuana since 1982, since 1981, since I was 14. And, you know, next thing I know, when I was living in Arizona, man, things really took on a whole new meaning for me. And my dedication to the plant, and my dedication to the people, and my dedication to the things that the plant provides to the people that it provided them, the food that was put on their table, the food that was put on my table, that was brought by cannabis. And cannabis is life, cannabis is my life, and cannabis is all your lives. And thank you for coming out today. And I'm really looking forward to having this jam over there at Moines. I guess they got an outdoor stage. We got some jammers, some people gonna, Johnny Reefer Seat's gonna be coming back. But the one thing is, you know, we kind of got a fledgling organization here in Iowa. Steve's not here, Iowa Normal's not here, Jim's here. You know, anybody's got any other ideas on how to organize, but all I can do is teach people how to enjoy freedom in another state. And then I'm like left alone, man. It's like people get sick of me. Being like, man, why don't you leave? Why don't you get the hell out of here? Why don't you leave Iowa? And I don't know, it's kind of tough. My parents are old, I got a good job. You know, what am I gonna do? You know, and people are like, oh, you got a good job? Yeah, I got a damn good job. But I gotta keep it on the low. You know, I don't talk about things in a work environment, in a professional environment. And, you know, if things take a turn for the worst, you know, I may be just not here next year. But Reverend Reefer will be here. He left. He wanted to go down Moines, get out of the sun. I really, man, this day has just really turned into really humid and sticky, and I should have brought some shorts to change into. Everybody's getting some sun. So
At least it's not raining.
it's not raining. It's a beautiful day. I really want to thank Clark for broadcasting the majority of this on dmlive.tv. And I do a show every Friday. It's on from 4 to 5. I'll have some little handouts for you. Green Central Station. Oh,
I got a couple words.
yep. Clark's got some stuff to say. He's really supportive of this movement, and this is my producer at dmlive.tv, Green Central Station. It's live every Friday, 4 to 5 o'clock. We're the highest show in Des Moines, live from the 13th floor of the Hub Towers. Give it up, dmlive.tv, Clark Davidson.
Hey, I'll make it really quick because it's hot. I just wanted to, after talking to a couple people here from Occupy, I wanted to invite everyone to come up to Occupy, visit occupydsm.org. We are in the process of trying to get the GA to approve a 420 working group. So we need more cannabis activists down at Occupy. So check out the GAs. They're every Sunday and Thursday. I don't know if you know, but there's been over 200 arrests as part of Occupy in Des Moines. Some of it was civil disobedience. Some people, like on October 9th, were arrested for just gathering in the park like you are here today. We're in solidarity with Occupy Wall Street and the global Occupy movement, because the only solution is global revolution. So come down and check out Occupy Des Moines, because we're really doing some really cutting edge things down there, and we're standing up to the system in a way that's never happened here in Des Moines. So come on, check it out.
All right.
All right. Support Occupy Iowa, Occupy Des Moines. Yeah, they really shook it up, man. They showed you how to get in the politician's face during this last presidential campaign when all them fools were coming through here, and it's just dwindling down. We're moving into election year. I mean, who doesn't think Obama's going to get reelected? But you know, even the hardcore Republicans, they're hurting their own party. They're so hardcore. They're scaring people away from the party. You know, maybe it's, the Ron Paul voters can take over the ballot box. You know, how's that going to work with the delegates and the what do they call it? The Electoral College. How's that going to work for if Ron Paul wins at the ballot and the popular vote? That's why I want to see the switch made for the president to popular vote. There's been a campaign for that, and Alan was up here talking about term limits. Man, I tell you, that bottler, he is definitely a reason for term limits. And this guy was been running unopposed. He likes to take the law into his own hands. He likes to think he knows what medicine is. He thinks he knows all about marijuana. And like I said, when people want to talk about the argument or bring the argument, they don't even have any experience with it. They haven't even used it. They want to tell you how bad it is, how bad marijuana is, and all these things that it'll do to your body and your mind, and all this destructiveness. But you know, the real destructiveness is the favorite drug of the state of Iowa, and that's alcohol. We all know that. We've all seen the destruction of alcohol in our own lives, either by ourselves personally or through family members.
That's right.
You know, the same as street drugs. The same way that I've seen street drugs destroy my family and my own personal life, I've seen alcohol do the same thing to families over and over. That and gambling. Gambling's the same way. So it's, you know, we just, I don't know, hopefully something will be done in Congress or something. I don't know. the laws are still the same as they were when I took my first hit of marijuana in 1982. It's just as illegal. Even though I've lobbied, I was there when they made the decision. The Board of Pharmacy voted unanimously that cannabis is medicine. And like Bob has talked about, Carl has talked about, nothing's changed. Nothing's happening.
When these politicians come knocking on your door campaign season, 3 words you gotta tell them. Obey the Constitution.
My name is Eddie. I'm 20 years old. A couple years ago, the doctor told me I had arthritis in both my knees. I have ADD. If I don't smoke, I can't go out and play baseball. I can't go skateboard like I've been doing for 13 years. I can't keep a conversation with somebody. I'm all over the place. And my mom told me, don't do that, you know, it's going to kill you, it's bad for you, all this stuff. I made her watch The Union. She changed her mind. She's like, here, do it, you know, if that's what helps you, then that's what helps you. So, I mean, here, if I can convince my mom, I'm pretty sure I can convince these pieces of shit behind me, so smoke up.
Good start, youngster, good start, yeah! Anybody else down there got any ideas? Come on up here. All right, got somebody else speaking. New generation.
Hey, I'm Bryce, 18 years old. I don't have too many medical reasons, really, but I am a very Christian person. 9:3 in Genesis says everything that moves and everything that is a green plant is for ours. It's for our own need, whatever we desire. It's not from one person or a group of people to decide what we really can or can't do. It's really what you want to do based on your own perception of life, you know. It's we're not here hurting anybody. It's just something we like to do. It's something that helps us relax, something that can help us be creative. So fight back and do what you gotta do.
Yeah!
Hi, my name's Ken. I got a list here of reasons to make marijuana legal. Prohibition has failed to control the use of domestic production of marijuana. The government has tried to use criminal penalties to prevent marijuana for over 75 years, and yet marijuana is now used by over 25 million free human beings in the United States. Cannabis is currently the largest cash crop in the United States. Marijuana is grown all over the planet as it should be. Claims that marijuana prohibition is a successful policy are ludicrous and insane. The facts are the idea that marijuana will soon be limited by Americans and the rest of the world is a fantasy. A regulated legal market in marijuana will reduce marijuana sales among teenagers. Let's see about that. Has reduced exposure to other drugs in the legal market. The legality of marijuana makes it more valuable than it is if it were legal, providing opportunities for teenagers to make easy money selling it to their friends. Whatever. Yeah, there's our DEA. The fact is, we live in a world that has cancer in every step. All of our food, water, air, environment is toxic. In our food, we have BPA, we have hypercorn syrup, we have glutamate, we have MSG. All these things are harmful to us in one degree or another. We live in a toxic environment. We should view each and every day as an opportunity to prevent cancer through proper diet. Bell peppers, garlic, cannabis, turmeric roots, all kinds of good things. Help us keep us alive. Now what you need to do after this day is over is go home and go on YouTube and plug into that YouTube website, the search engine, the cancer report. And there will be an hour-long show that shows exactly why cancer is outpacing heart disease, the #1 killer of Americans in the world today. 15 years ago, 1 in 15 persons contracted cancer. Today is 1 in 2, 1 in 3. This is not an old person's disease. This is a disease that can hit anyone at any time. In Canada, they found a cure for cancer. It's called DCA. Look that up on the internet, DCA. It is so easy to get that the pharma industry will not promote it because they can't make a buck off it. But it is a cure for cancer. There is lots of cures for cancer. Cannabis is one of them. There's many of them. You have to treat each and every day as an opportunity to prevent cancer. Otherwise, you're going to contract it and become a victim of big pharma and the use of chemotherapy, which is most cancers that you can't contract are contracted from exposure from a radiant source. We had 2,000 nuclear bomb tests, open-air bomb tests in this world. We have Fukushima fallout come to us every single day. We need to take preventative actions against cancer. Cannabis is one of those actions. Thank you.
It's really important that the younger generation picks up for us older people. Like I say, what about the old people? When people say, well, what about the children? What about the message to the children? I said, well, what about the old people? What about the grandpas going to jail that have cancer or MS or Crohn's disease or whatever ails them? Why are grandpas and grandmas going to prison or jail, even just arrested for a night? It's ridiculous. So this is going to conclude the Iowa Hemp Freedom Rally 2012. Now next year, just remember, it's the first Saturday in May every year. We meet here at noon. We have a march from City Hall, which today was great. Well, we didn't have awesome turnout, but the people that showed up, they were new to the march, and just want to wish these people a happy day on their wedding. Hopefully, they are ready to make a change for their children in the future, because the cannabis laws are bullshit, and they need to change for the future. Moms are for marijuana. There are moms for marijuana in the state of Iowa, the state of Nebraska, the state of Colorado, and it's the moms. The moms, they're the ones that got alcohol illegal and banished in the temperance movement. Well, the moms need to come up and step up for marijuana. Let's bring it. Thank you.
Here's mom. Hang on.
All right, Mom.
Okay, I'm a mom, and I just lost my son last December to a lot worse drugs than pot could ever become. And if they left him alone while he was smoking pot instead of putting him on paper, he might still be alive today.
All right, so that concludes it. I'll see you at Moines. Thank you all for coming out. I enjoyed it, as always. Thank you. And check out Green Central Station every Friday, dmlive.tv. You'll get to hear me just ramble on. All right, Jamie's going to unhook it.